Hey guys! So today you and I are going to talk about influencers. So let's get into it. So the question in question was, hi Frederick, as a software engineer, do you follow software engineer influencers on LinkedIn? Nope, I do not. And I don't follow them on LinkedIn, or I don't really. I'm not sure. For those of you who have ever tried to reach out to me, you should probably only find I have LinkedIn, and that's basically it. I don't do a lot of social media. I've never had a Facebook account, for example, or anything like that. It's never been my thing. And the reason for this is it ties back to your question here, and it also ties back to an answer that I gave a long time ago, and that is that I usually don't enjoy just having public opinion people be part of a conversation when we're talking about a specific subject. What I mean by that is that I'm not overly interested in communicating with the widest range of people possible if it's something where I'm trying to learn something, I'm trying to understand something, because I like to form my own opinions. I'd like to have some thinking time for myself, and I don't really like um, I detest rudeness, I detest extremism and things like that, where people are, not able to behave in a civilized way, or like they won't have a rational conversation with you or something like that. And it spoils my day when I have to deal with too many people, or with the sort of people who are, as I like to say, they're rude for absolutely no reason, and it affects me and I don't like it. So usually I don't do social media whatsoever. But even when it comes to following an individual, like an influencer or an expert or something like that, I don't do that either, unless this person has either a very like a channels is a different thing. A specific person is I don't have anyone that I know of at the very least. But if outlets for sure. So let's say Free Code Camp, or like one of those sorts of channels, where you have a range of different content creators who make videos, or like for other platforms, of course, as well. They make a bunch of different stuff. That absolutely, because what I'm looking for in that scenario is I'm looking for content that will help me understand a topic, or see a different version of how someone does something or something like that. It helps me stay informed, similar to how I subscribe to a very, very broad range of different newsletters, even for technologies that I might not be working with at that moment, but I still subscribe because I want to understand what's going on in the different communities. And the best part I've found with that is that it gives me a very convenient way to figure out very quickly what's going to be relevant and what's not going to be so relevant. I can just look at headlines and say, like, yeah, we're going to talk about this and this and this, and then I can start skimming it through and so forth. But it's very rare that I follow an individual, and it has mostly to do with that their content is very similar to, it's more having a conversation with an individual, where they might share thoughts and ideas and things like that. And so I don't really, I have gotten to a point where I don't really seek that out from an external party anymore, like the top notch, it sounds weird, but let's take Martin Fowler, Uncle Bob, or Kent Dodds for React. Like, there's tons of these different people. Like, they are enormously influential people. They have a lot of good ideas and thoughts and so forth. But I've grown to a point where either, like, some of it might be relevant, but most of it might not be all that relevant. And I would rather be look at the things that they give out that has actual relevance to me. And the way I figure out, like, rather than just have 100 messages, that is the same thing with the newsletters, guys. Having someone's feed and knowing exactly when they post something is not that relevant to me. What is relevant is that sooner or later, if it really had value, that I find it. And here is my secret tip for how to find things that, regardless of if it's an influencer or not, that's irrelevant. Because I don't care how famous you are, I care about how good is your idea. And the way I find that is through Google, or like Bing, or like a search engine. I have a question. This is what I'm talking about when I say I'm problem oriented. I don't care what the trendiest, most high profile influencer does at any given moment, because unless I know for a fact that the thing that they are doing, or like the thing they're creating, has a high level of relevancy for me, which 9 times out of 10 it doesn't. And that's why I tell people, again, the difference between things being quote-unquote popular. I had that argument with a guy the other day. He was saying that, oh no, you should not use Create React App because you should be using Vite, because Vite is more popular in the community. And my first question is, which community are you talking about? Oh yeah, but it has like super many likes on GitHub. And I say, yeah, and Vue has more stars on GitHub than React as well. But if you compare, as I've said before, guys, go through the job postings and take a look. And then we can talk about popularity, like, oh, do you want to have likes, or do you want to have relevance? Like, what are you talking about? And the same thing goes for what the influencers are doing, guys. Like, there are a million things that they are doing for many different reasons. It might be relevant to a lot of people, but it's not relevant to me because I don't have the problems that they are showing us how to solve, or they're promoting and so forth. And I also know that some of the things that these people, even though they're famous, they're still people, guys. Not everything that they're going to make is going to be completely 100% correct, just like you probably don't agree with everything that I think and say and so forth and so forth. And to me, it's more interesting to say, all right, Google, ChatGPT, take whatever system you have. I'm trying to figure out how to be better at something. Can you tell me about someone who has an idea around that? And then if it turns out it's a famous person, great. I usually have a rule where I say, if you're consistently always giving out the sort of stuff that I go, yeah, I almost learn something from this person almost every single time, well, then you go on my subscription or something like that. It's not that often that it happens, at least not in software development, but for other things, for sure. Like, I learn, in my spare time, I think it's interesting to learn about your tools like Inkscape or GIMP or Blender, like animation types of things, and graphic design and stuff like that. And I'm a complete rookie in all of that stuff, guys. So I have people that, specific channels that I follow because their tutorials are awesome or things like that. So it's not like I don't follow anybody. It's just that, as I said, I'm not trying to follow a person, if that makes sense. I don't care if you're famous. I care how smart are you. So what I want you to take away from this, guys, is that the reason why I don't follow anyone. Usually, it's I do follow people, but it's not for what I get the sensation that you're looking for here, or like I get the sensation that you're looking for specific types of, like, a list of people or things like that. That's not how it works for me, guys. It's always based on what value do you have. Like, I go and I look for an answer. Did you give me an answer? All right, next time I look for a similar sort of answer to a similar sort of problem. Are you there again, like, with a really good answer, and I can I evaluate this thing, and I can empirically see that, yeah, your solution or your thoughts are very good on this specific topic. It's my friends hate the fact that I don't have a genre when they want to recommend me songs and things like that. I just don't have a real preference. And the sad truth is, I tell them every single time, I don't know the most of the names of the bands that are on my playlist. I don't care. Like, I really don't care who made it at that point, because I'm just there to enjoy the song. And it doesn't matter if it's like a small band or if it's like a super famous top artist or something like that. It's the same thing when it comes to my way of looking at influencers or content that is relevant to me for my own work. It's completely besides the point if you're famous or not, because I will evaluate your thoughts on the topic regardless. And this is easier the more experienced you get, because you start realizing that the top influencers, especially in IT, not all of them are actually telling you, they're not giving you secret black book magic techniques for being a better software developer. They're just trying to promote themselves or promote an idea or a concept and so forth. And many of them, just as myself, we're deeply flawed people, guys. So as I've said to you before, it doesn't matter if it's me, it doesn't matter if it's somebody else. Make sure that you don't just blindly listen to what I say or someone else says. Just make sure that you first and foremost understand the problem that you're solving, and then you listen and see if we have some ideas or some tips on how to solve that specific problem. And remember, what's true for me or for Google or Facebook or whatever company may not necessarily be 100% true for what you are doing. So remember what I've said before, guys. The trick is to look at what other people are saying or doing, and take the pieces that will work for your situation. Don't just blindly follow or copy paste. Think a little bit in between the transition from what they said to how you are going to deal with your problems. Have a great day.